Hello, it's T with Teresa H Creates, and this is the third or part three of the Fairy Merry Christmas series that I'm doing. And hopefully this will be the last one. I plan on finishing this up. So I have put all the papers together and created the signatures. And while I initially was doing 10 pages for signatures, because a lot of these are handmade and dyed, it's quite fluffy. So I am going to set those aside and show you the ones that I changed up. So I did these with 8 pages for the signatures, and while still fluffy, they allow a little bit more room because I do want to put a bookmark and a journal card in each one of these in those pockets. So let me go through the process with my 10th and final journal that needs to have a signature added. And so I believe I went ahead and pulled 10 pages, and so I need to get rid of 2. So I've been using this copy paper as all of the just first pages in all of the journals. It was just kind of a good starter. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 9 pages, so it looks like I just need to remove 1. So let's work this. I like this red here. I like the tea dye. I like this tea dye, tea dye. Let's remove this guy and see how that looks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think that I am going to make this the center and put this on, and that will be that. Okay, so now I've got my 8 pages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And now I'm going to cut them down. Pull up my guillotine cutter. I brought it over so that you can see every step of this process. So what I'm doing is 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to pull out 4 pages. Make sure they're nice and lined up. And then I measured the book, and so I'm going to make them just slightly smaller than the book. So it was like 7 3/4, or the actual journal cover. So 7 3/4, and then it was 5 1/4. I'm going to cut down the outside, and then on the inside, these pages, I'm going to cut to also 7 3/4. But I am going to cut these at 5 inches instead of 5 1/8, because as they stack in here, because of the volume, they tend to kind of come out a little bit, push out, and so this makes it just a little bit more roomy, and then I'm not having pages stick out in the center, if that makes sense. And I have tons of this now, and I think it's so pretty, and I don't want to toss it, but I'm not sure what to do with it. So if you've got any ideas, let me know. I'm going to be thinking on that because I'm not sure. All right, I'm going to set this guillotine aside, and then I am going to get out my walnut stain, and I'm just kind of roughly inking up the edges. I'm just holding this tight and just giving it a little bit of inking. I'm not being super precise or anything. It's not really important to me at this point. Just want to give the edges a little bit of that distress ink. All right, put that aside. Oh, and then let me get a wipey. My little foam, my little dome right there is getting kind of used, and it creates all these little fuzzies. And if I don't wipe them off, so I need to replace it, but if I don't wipe them off, then they get stuck on everything and just create kind of an extra inky mess, which could be great depending on what you're working on, or could kind of really mess up a project. All right. So now that I've got this, now I'm going through with a stamp set, and I have this very large stamp set that I got from one of my haul videos. It was the Iron Orchid design stamp set, and I'll show it to you in just a second. But I have them all laid out. So I have tons of stamps, and I'm going to use this VersaFine Claire in Pinecone. And I am going to just randomly stamp images. And these are the stamps that I used when I was doing the jelly prints. And these are die cuts on the jelly prints. I was using a lot of random stuff, and I'm kind of doing first and second generation stamping here. So I'm stamping off as well. Let me put this little pine cone here. And if I go a few pages, I can put another one down. So some really nice second generation stamps there. Let's see. I've got all of my blocks out. Printing up, stamping up stuff. Oh, and then I ran out. And this is actually my jewel picker case. But it's today, it's not a jewel picker case. It is a stamping block. So use what you've got. Let's see, I've got this large stamp here. See, this one I'm even using front and back. But I'm trying not to think about this too much and just lay down stamps and images. I might go back to this one. There we go. That is gorgeous. I don't really want to stamp on that. Although I have stamped on some of these papers and it's stamped beautifully. I even like the little rough edges here. I don't know if you can, yep, you can see that. I like the little rough edges there. Let's see, get a second generation stamp there. It's one of those nice big pine cones there. Let's set this aside. Oh, that's pretty. So like I said, a lot of these stamps were used when I was doing the jelly printing. So they're going to show up on those jelly print pages, but then also, see, it stamps very nicely, but then also show up when I stamp like I'm doing now. So it'll have a common theme throughout the book. And it's hard to focus and also talk. Let me see. There we go. All right. Let me cover this up because I will inevitably put my fingers in it if I'm not careful. All right, now I'm going to bind this into the book. Make sure it's nice and even. Flush all the way down. And then I'm just going to use these binder clips to hold these pages once I have it together so it's not sliding around everywhere. Okay. Then I've got my guide that I made when I was setting the eyelets on these books. So here is the top. I want to make sure the top is at the top. And I've been closing it up, and since these are slightly smaller than the book, I've kind of been lining it up so that my guide is somewhat in the center there. And that looks good. That's what I've been using for my cutting mat. I took my book away that I've been using, was using an old book to punch into, and now I'm using this cutting mat. I'm repurposing it. It is no longer good for die cutting, but I didn't want to just toss it, so I'm going to repurpose it and use it for my book binding, my eyelet setting. It's perfect for that kind of stuff, and it'll take the abuse. Okay, so now I've got my holes punched, and then let's see, we're going to, I'm using this wax, it's wax covered twine here. 1, 2, 3. We want 3 lengths of the book, and it's just going to be your standard 3-hole pamphlet stitch. I'm not doing anything fancy. My needle. I lost my other needle. I have no idea where it is, so I've got to, as soon as I'm done here and I start to clean up, I've got to find it because it is out there somewhere. I don't know where. I looked all over. I did like the first 5 books with it, and then all of a sudden it disappeared. And I've just been standing here doing these books, so I have no idea where it went. But I definitely don't want our pupper finding it on the ground, so I've got to look for it. All right, we're going to go back up the top. I'm not great at binding, so this is such an easy way to do this, but mine are always kind of loosey-goosey. And then I pull it really tight at the end. Okay, so you want to make sure the string is on this side of the binding. Here we go. And you'll see why if you haven't done this before. We'll come back through and tighten it all up. Let's see. Pull everything kind of tight. Then we're going to go back through the center. And this is always, make sure I don't go through that string. This is always the most difficult part for me here. Coming back through the center. And I found if you kind of leave your book closed, it makes it a little bit easier to find the way exactly through. Perfect. All right. I want to come in on the other side. Okay, I kind of just threw that needle, so that explains why I was having such a hard time. And these are crossed. There we go. So I'm going to take this off now. Well, mystery solved on how I lost that needle. I guess if I'm just tossing it when I'm done. It's like my victory toss. This feels good. And then I've kind of just been lining this up here. There we go. And then tie it with this long string in the center. And then one more time for good measure. Snip, and there we go. There we go. All right. So that is done. All of the signatures are in the journals. They look so cute. They are stunning. They look just absolutely beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. And a couple of things that I will share with you. Let me see. This one, for example, I ended up putting this border on here because when I was doing the eyelets, I ended up tearing through this yellow, and I ended up putting, that's why I put this here, because I could put the eyelet in there and set it, and it was going to help reinforce that. So I didn't have to like do the whole cover over again. So that's why this is here. So I kind of repaired that one. And then let me see, the first one I did, I had some trouble with the eyelets with this one as well. And so that's why I have this bit right here over it, because it was, I think it was torn a little bit on the seams, and then I had struggled with the eyelets, and so I put this little edge on it, this little border. So don't think that you have to throw it away. There are ways that you can reinforce the spines if you need to. So those were just a couple of my tricks on how to reinforce those. Just put another layer on, and everything will look good. So that's what it looks like. Top, side, look at all those glorious papers. They're absolutely beautiful. Let me clean up my space, and then I'll be back to work on some of the ephemera, the bookmarks and the journal cards that will go in this, and I'll see you in just a bit. Bye. And I'm back. So I did clean up, but then I made another mess. So I want to make some bookmarks to go inside of the journals, and I was kind of using this as the template because I think this is about the right size that I'm wanting for that bookmark. And I already have 5. I used some of the extra paper that I had and kind of cut those down. And so I didn't quite measure this out. So let me see. I'm going to tear this. And I'm just going to put my ruler down. Let me line it up though. Get it in a corner. Get it lined up. I kind of want them to be a little bit rough, so I'm not taking too many precautions as far as like it has to be like this exact measurement. just kind of using rough guides. Okay. Like these aren't all the same size. Some of them were a little bit thinner, but it was just because I was using up all the paper that I had, all the scrap paper that I had. So let's get some rough sizes here. I think I need about 5 more. I think that that's about right. Yep. And I'll have my 5. All right. I've got my 5. They're all roughly the same size. So take a couple. I want to just trim up the edges, little corners. Didn't quite do that right. Okay. It's nice to have these nice big scissors. I can do a couple at a time. All right, so as I had mentioned before, I think that what I'm going to do is like kind of a layered set. So I want to get, and I've been thinking about using some black ink and using that stamp set and stamping out just one dark image on these, from that step set onto these bookmarks, and then just leaving it like that, like just one stark image. And I think that because I'm going to be layering them up with other things, and I kind of just, I think that that's the look I'm going for. And I'll see. Let me get rid of all this. So then let's see. Let me see if I can give you a better idea. So I've got these little bulb pens, just little bulb shaped pens. Pull a few out in black. There they are. Okay. So I'm thinking of layering up like the bookmark, and then another little piece, and then a little tag, and then putting those into the journal. So let me see. I want to get some images stamped. I'm going to use this VersaFine Black Onyx. Let me lay these out. And I've got some acrylic blocks over here. But let me see. And I'm going to go back to this Iron Orchid Designs stamp set that I got. And this is really for like decorating furniture, I think, and stuff. So these are really large stamps, but I'm going to find something that'll go in the center of those pretty well. And I don't know if I want to do like a big pine cone. I could do a big pine cone. I could also do this guy. I could also do this guy. Let me see, there's a larger pine cone. I wonder if that'll be better. Yeah, the larger one. Okay, so I think that the 3 of those are my go-to images. And so I'm going to just go ahead and start stamping with these. Let me get my block. Here's my large one I like using. Okay, and let me get 3 of these on here. Sticky. And I'm not looking necessarily for perfection. I just want to get a nice image. So I think those look good. Let's set those aside. And I chose three images. Let me get one more of this. Perfect. Okay. And then let me go to the next one. I'm really enjoying these stamps. I want to go back and get more. They had a coffee set that I want because I love my coffee. And they had a they had a coffee set, and what was the other one? They had one other that I wanted really. Oh, they have like a botanical, so like ferns and things, large ferns, like large fern leaves and stuff. And so I want that one so I can do my botanicals. It was coffee, botanicals, and then I want to say it might have been just like a Christmas one that I wanted. How many are left? Okay. Let me wipe this down and then get the last stamp going. This VersaFine Onyx Black is probably one of the best ink pads that I've used for stamping. And I used to use like the big archival ink pad. And this one, the detail on it is just spot on. I absolutely love it. It is my favorite. All right, I like having just kind of that nice stark black image. And of course, I'll come back later and ink up those edges. I might round the corners of those too. All right, that part is done. I think I am going to go ahead and round these corners. Cannot wait to see what this is going to look like all finished. It's going to be so pretty. I'm so excited. I like doing it this way just so that I can see how the paper's lining up. Because if you don't line it up just right in that little groove, it can be wonky. And I have to do several snips, and so I like being able to look at it so that I can see that I'm getting a good cut the first time. And this is part of that scrap paper, or the large paper that was in that kit that I got from that estate sale. And so it was nice to be able to use up some of the scraps and then also have another piece to be able to use to make other bookmarks with. And then let me get rid of that trash, get that out of the way. Okay. Let me see. I'm not going to ink them up yet because I want to give them a minute to kind of dry. Let me see. I might go ahead and punch holes though. I'm having a hard time lining that up. That was awkward. That was awkward. Sorry about that. Okay. Let's see if I can do several at a time without it being a complete bust here. Even if they're a little off. Looking for handmade, not perfection, right? All right. Get these lined up somewhat centered. Oops. Goodness, that is the one thing I don't like about this crocodile, is that it is always leaving stuff inside. Hold on. It just stays there. Get this out of the way. Okay. So And again. Last two, and then we'll be done with this part. Oh, I'm just gonna line it up. Gonna be close enough, right? Okay. Get rid of these. All right. And then I went ahead and I went ahead and die cut all the little reinforcers for the tags. So let me grab my reverse tweezers and get those glued on. I'm going to use my art glitter glue for this. Cute. All right. I'm going to do the rest of those off camera and then come back. Okay, I've attached all the reinforcers front and back. So I didn't want you to have to watch me do that entire process. So those are done, and I'm going to set those aside, and I'll link them up later. I'll link everything up at one time. So the next part of this, I think I'm going to look at doing the journal cards because I need to let them dry a little bit. So I have these little books. Let me pull it out. I have these little Christmas ephemera books, and it's got just the old-fashioned ephemera in it. And some of them are these nice, large images. And so I went ahead and started gluing those down to use as journal cards. And I'm just using some extra index cards that I had in my stash. And I need 10 of them. I'm going to go ahead and I pulled out some that I thought would work. And, oh, that one's attached. That one's attached. Oh, how many do I have already? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So I'm going to glue down a few more and let those stick. Let's see that. Oh, that's way too large. I'll put that aside. That'll go on something else. I was trying to stick with stuff that was a little bit more nature themed, just because it's those fairies. All right, I'm going to use my glue stick for this. I'm just using a Tombow mono glue stick. And I've got my book down here, my glue book. Put that down. Once those dry, I'm going to cut them down, so I'm not really worried about it. That's a pretty one. All that holly on it. That'll be perfect in one of these books. I wanted to get a few more than 10 glued down because I'll use them in other projects. So that's not really a big deal. But I also wanted to have options just in case something wasn't quite right or didn't fit or whatever. Because I'm doing this and I never really measured the actual book pages. So, I mean the actual pockets, sorry. I never measured them to see what size journal card I could use or that I would need. So that's on me if it doesn't quite work. That is definitely on me. Let's see. Or like that. Those are cute. It's got the lines on it. I had a lot of variation in this book. I think that one's a little bit chunky underneath. I haven't really been braiding any of these down. I need to make sure they're nice and stuck in all the edges. And there aren't any bubbles. That's part of using the glue stick, because sometimes you'll get bubbles. So I want to make sure there aren't any bubbles. Let's see. Oh, this is a pretty one too. All of these came from that one set. Those two ephemera books. I mean, sorry. All of these came from those 2 ephemera books that you just saw. I just went through and we're looking for items that were roughly the right size. That's a pretty one. This might be it for this page. Getting kind of sticky. And that is sticky. Put that aside and use that for something else. It's a pretty one. I don't know if those are quite big enough. These are really cute, but I kind of want them a little bit bigger for like little journaling cards. And I think that I've got enough. I'm going to keep these 3. Well, let's go ahead and just do those 3. I've got the stuff for them, and those 3 look like, and then I'll have plenty to choose from. If I do these 3, I will have plenty to choose from. Aren't these pretty? I like these vintage ephemera books. I don't remember where I got them. I'm not sure if I picked them up at Half Price Books or if I got them. I might have gotten one on Amazon, but one from Half Price Books. One of them I've had longer than the other one, and it might have been the one that I got from Half Price. And then I think I searched Amazon because I was looking for similar books to put in my stash, and then that's where I got the other one. But I do like the vintage ephemera pieces. Quite lovely. All right. I'm going to let those dry, and then we'll come back to those later. Take this one off since that is sticky. All right, and that's some nice scrap. Okay. So the next part is, because I wanted to do these in kind of a layering bit, I wanted to use, I think, this ephemera pack. So I was looking at this ephemera pack, and I was looking at how could I incorporate this because it matches those papers. It's that IOD Designs, and they have these cute little ephemera bits in there, and I was like, these would be adorable as tags. So let me pull all of them that already have little holes punched. Let's see how many I've got. Okay, I need 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so I'm going to have plenty to choose from. So let me put these back in this bag and then decide which ones. I think that one's a little too big, so I'm going to go ahead and put that back. These are definites. That's a maybe. Yes, 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 yes. All right. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9. We'll go with 10. Or should I use this one? The only reason why I didn't want to use this one is because it says to and from. But I guess that really doesn't matter, does it? I don't think so. We'll go ahead and use it. It's a little more substantial. All right. So I will ink these up as well. And then for the little bitties, I looked through my Tim Holtz Ideology flashcards, these little flashcards. And so for the little bitties that I'm going to put on there, I looked through the words and found some that I thought might work. So let's see. Keeping these in mind, I've got glory, family, love, faith, hope, wishes. There's another wishes. There's another glory. Celebrate, winter, blessed. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, no, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, we'll go with those. Okay, so my thought is that I would ink up the edges of these and then we would layer them like this. Everything would have a hole punched and it would kind of layer. So let's get to inking and then get these attached. And I think I'll do those off camera too, so you don't have to watch it. I'm just going to ink up the edges and then attach them, and then I'll be back and we'll start working on the journal cards. All right, I'm back. So I went ahead and inked the edges of all of these bookmarks and then went ahead and assembled them. So I inked the edges of everything. Actually, I was on an inking frenzy. So I went ahead and inked the little tags here that were part of the ephemera set, and then these little guys, and then put everything together. So that's kind of what they look like. I'm going to show you real quick. Aren't they cute? They're so cute. And again, this ephemera matches the paper in that pack. All right, so cute, so cute. And when I was done inking all of those, I realized my journal cards were ready to go. So I cut those down, inked the edges. Some of them I left square because they had little borders on them, and then others I rounded the corners and inked the edges. I haven't put any of the little well-tail tabs on them yet. So what I'll do is I punched out a bunch of these little well-tail tabs because I got a new well-tail punch. Where is it? I've been wanting it for so long, and then I finally got it. Here it is. Happy to use it. So happy to use it. Anyhow, I went ahead and punched a bunch of them out, and then I'll just attach them when I figure out which ones will go. So I've inked the edges of these and everything, so they're ready to go. And this is also scrap paper from that same kit. I think I used it on the border of on the spine of one of the journals. And so there it is. So let's pull them out and get ready. So, or go ahead and fill them up. So here is this one. I just kind of want to flip through it so you can see how beautiful. And then, so I need to just find something that's going to go in here. Kind of like this guy. So we'll do that right on the top here. Put some glue. Well, I guess it would be nice if I faced it towards me. There we go. Hold that for a second, and it goes. Look at that. So cute. Okay. And then which one to put here? I think there was one that actually matched this paper exact. Not that I'm going to do that with all of them, but let's do this guy here. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Too cute. Okay. I'm going to get bogged down going through all of these, looking at everything and how cute it is. Let's do, I kind of like this with all these golden tones. So let's do that. And I don't see any problem with having it upside, or not upside down, but side to side like that. So I think it is perfectly fine on its side. Hold that for a minute. Too cute, too cute. All right. And then why don't we use this glory in here? And this is the one journal that I did. The pocket's a little bit different. So they're actually notched and closed on both sides. That was an experimental one that I had done. And I really liked the way that turned out, and I wish that I had decided to do that sooner. Although these pockets are totally fine. I just really like the way that little notch looked and everything. I'm kind of liking this. I think that looks good in there. Oh, I'm so excited that these are almost done. I think that they are just the cutest. They are so pretty. And these papers, oh, gorgeous. Okay. And next, all right, I think I'm going to go with this one because these colors are so rich. Put that in there. And then here, this green kind of jumped out at me because of that. So I will put that one. I'm just so super happy with the way this is turning out. There we go. Let me move them back over. There we go. Okay, next, this little beauty. Let's see if I have something. Oh, you know what? That one actually looks really good. Put that in there. And then some of these pages. This was the center of this. How gorgeous is that? That just turned out so beautiful. And I'm thinking that that looks perfect. I don't know if there's a, no, I think it's this way. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. And I think this looks good. Put that there. Actually, I think that this is, nope, those are the doves. Did I already use the angel? I might have already used the angel, so I'll just stick with what I've got. All right. Look at this. More of just that center paper that looks so beautiful. Oh, and this guy, I think that looks perfect. That kind of jumped out. Boy, these are just putting themselves together at this point, honestly. So pretty. Next, I like this one. And then let's see. I think that I am going to use this one. Oh no, am I running out of well tells? I see one more. So pretty. And this one, look at this. I'm telling you, this paper is just delicious. I absolutely love it. Love, love, love. All right, I think I'm going to use this one. That's really pretty. Nice. All right, and the final two, these guys. I think this looks good here. And this one looks good here. Okay, and then I pull them both together because I don't have a well tail. I don't have the other well tail, so I don't know if I just didn't punch enough. Oh, you know what? I was using a piece of scrap paper, and I ran out, and so then I was like, oh, I'll punch a few more, and then I didn't. So let's see. I kind of like that. I think I like this here. What do we think? And I think I'm going to do that. Okay, that and that. So I'll put those aside because I will use those definitely in something else. Okay, let me look for another piece of scrap paper from this collection so that I'm I'm just going to stick with the same. I'm just going to fold it up, and that wasn't like an even fold or anything like that. Score that, and then make a couple of, oops, I guess it would help if I opened it up, right? And there we go. Easy peasy. Let me ink these up. Make sure I get both sides. So pretty. I'd really like your feedback on these because I'm absolutely in love with them. And just want to know what you think. And instead of putting it in, I could put it in this way, but I think I'm going to do it this way. That just makes more sense to me. Really like your feedback. Let's see what you liked about this whole process. And I know someone else had requested a process video or kind of a tutorial on the actual paper making. I got on and explained how I did it, but somebody would like to actually see it being done. So I've got to figure out a time to do that and see if I can get my daughter to help me out. It doesn't have to be a two-person thing, but she enjoyed it and she did a good job. So, oh, done. Done and done. They are gorgeous. They are absolutely gorgeous. Everybody has a bookmark and a tag. And there they are, my lovely little Christmas fairies. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your support in this. It was a lot of fun for me. I hope you enjoyed it as well and just enjoyed the beautiful transfers, these little fairies. Very Merry Christmas in July. And that's a wrap. Thank you so much for watching. If you like, please press the like button. Please comment if you have any feedback, any suggestions, anything that you'd like to see more of. And I will see you next time. Bye.